Blah, blah, blah. I don't lose on quarantine. Welcome back. We're here. 39 wins in a row. Who'd have thunk it? Not me. Well, kind of me. We've had some spiced runs lately. Give it a try here. FWRWZ6MH. We've had some spiced runs lately, but we've been riding a wave of pure dopamine for a long, long time. At this point, my joke about not losing on quarantine has become so convincing that even I've started to believe it, and I very rarely trust the things that I say. But that's why I always encourage you, in every aspect of your life, make bold predictions. If they don't come true, then you get to go, well, obviously, I mean, what were the odds of that bold prediction coming true? It was just a joke. If they do come true, you look like a genius. A one-off joke about how I don't lose on quarantine, all of a sudden, he's not losing on quarantine. I'm not saying this is like, you know, a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm saying I think we got lucky and ran into a stroke of both good luck and good fortune at the same time that I happened to make a joke in that direction as well. And now I look like a genius, and we got a little meme that the whole community can get behind. He don't lose on quarantine. How's everybody doing out there? Well, I hope me as well. Promise that is not a dry cough. That is the cough of a man who was woken up earlier than usual. I don't want to say it was early, but it was earlier than usual. You know, as mentioned many times, I'm not sure if the news has gotten this far yet. I know it has, obviously, because I've said it. But my wife is pregnant, and I would say maybe, like, literally 95% of the time, I wake up before my wife does on any given average day. Now and then she'll get up before me, but it's pretty rare. So this morning, you know, she got up like an hour before my alarm goes off, or would have gone off, I suppose. And I was immediately like, I snapped to attention, right? And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm just really, really craving some apples." I don't hold it against her. You know, it's if you're craving some apples, go get some apples. I was alarmed because it was oh, that's so good. It was a slightly unusual situation, and then anything even slightly unusual when you combine the element of pregnancy with it is also a little bit alarming, I suppose, or at least something that you want to, you know, ask about. It's very strange, you know. Well, they knocked each other out. You know, we have been, I'll take it. It's a little spice, but I'll take it. We've known about the pregnancy since the end of January, right? And this is before, at least in Canada, the coronavirus stuff kind of kicked off. So we had met with our family doctor many times, probably like 3 times from January to the start of March, to take tests and talk about, you know, next steps and stuff like that. We got referred to an obstetrician, and, you know, we had already done an ultrasound, and we'd already done like some blood testing and stuff like that. But now, like, everything's locked down. Did I talk? I don't know if I talked about this, but I'll take it, don't get me wrong. I don't think we care about an arcade. Just get me out of here. So, like, we had an appointment. You're supposed to meet your family doctor, like, once every 2 weeks to once a month. Well, I mean, I say this like I'm an authority on the subject. Really, I'm not an authority. I just do whatever my family doctor tells me to do. And if you've got a problem with that, you can take it up with her, to be honest with you. But anyway, so we were supposed to have a meeting, which I guess is just like a touch base sort of situation, where they go, "Hey, how's life?" And you go, "Pretty good, except for this alien growing inside of me." And then you all laugh, but you also have a little bit of recognizance that you're like, "Yeah, it's inconvenient." And then you move on, and, you know, they take your wife's blood pressure while you sit in the chair looking at your phone. Something like that. But they didn't want us to come in the office this time. They called us in the morning and were like, "Hey, and I know you've got an appointment later today, but could we just do it over the phone instead?" And I'm like, "You know, I'm not gonna... You're the doctor. Tell us what you want." So I didn't really know what to expect, but it was a very weird phone call. I'm not ragging on my doctor. You know, it's like, it's not the situation she really signed up for either. But she was like, do you have a home scale? Because I'd like to know your weight. And I was like, yeah, we got a home scale. So, you know, we weighed Kate. And then she was like, do you have a home blood pressure cuff? And I was like, no. And she was like, you should really go to Costco and get one immediately so we can stay on top of, like, because that's one of the most important measurements, apparently. So, like, right after the call ended, I went to the drugstore and I got a home blood pressure cuff. Things I know that they're not uncommon, but I was like, you know, you could have included that in the morning call. You kind of sprung it on me. It's like you asking your friend to help you move, and you're like, you know, do you have a truck? Well, you should go get one. It's really gonna help me move. I guess it is for us. It's not. It's not like she's got her. She owns stock of the blood pressure cuff corporation. Hold on, magician, empress, death. Death is good for us temporarily here. It's a little spiced. I'd really like to go to the item room first here. That's my current. That's where I'm at currently. That's my current priority. But yeah, she was just kind of like, you know, how are you doing? And we were like, well, I don't answer for my wife, you know, that's her purview. But I was like, you know, go ahead and let her answer. And she's like, we're doing okay. And she's like, okay. Why don't you just send those measurements over to me and we'll be good to go? I mean, it's kind of a mundane story, I'll admit. It's just unusual, I guess, is all I'm trying to get across. Strange times. It's a strange time to be pregnant. So well, I'm not pregnant, but to be expecting, I suppose. And she was also like, you know, we're not really... Like, apparently you don't... After a certain point, you don't really meet with your general practitioner. You know, your quote-unquote family doctor. This is a little spice. Just work with me for a second here. You start to go exclusively to, like, the obstetrician. But the obstetrician's office is like, we don't really know yet whether you... Like... Why wouldn't I just walk to the item room? You can just walk over it. That scared the crap out of me, dude. So hold on. We're not going to our item room. We're going to the shop. And when we go to the shop, please God be a shop. We can use Yera very productively. And then this is going to kick this run into high gear. I think you just start with Yera. So then we can get this. We don't have to use it, but we could if we wanted to. Strength. I didn't mean to buy that, to be honest with you. But we can use this, and this will at least give us enough money to buy a key in this situation. And we did get there. So we will take that key. This could be very important, by the way. So, like, it's possible. I'm going to do it. Why not? Let's get funky. It's possible. You know how you're working from home? We might do this whole pregnancy situation from home. We might handle the whole pregnancy remotely. We should download Zoom. We'll get the obstetrician to download Zoom. Just pass me like a PDF of how to deliver the baby. I'm on it. It can't be that hard. People used to do it, you know. I mean, they were doing it in the ancient eras, you know? Like the 1950s. Don't pop strength yet. This is like, it's a bad room for a dunce cap, just to be straight up with you. However... It's not a bad room to have an orbital, which I think is how we're going to do a lot of our damage. Don't take... Okay, this is spiced, but also incredible. This is a huge get for us. So we grab, strength, use, grab, and then we'll get HP out of this again. Okay. Now, hold on, does Incubus... Okay, Incubus also shoots on the dunce cap bias, which is not great for us, but it is what it is. We'll head downwards here. It's still spicy, but Goat Head gives us such leverage in the future that I'm feeling pretty positive about it. But it's a weird one. Ain't no doubt about that. But it's a weird one kind of all over right now, I suppose. Not sure if you've watched the news recently, etc. I'm not sure how many times I've used that joke recently, but... Not a whole heck of a lot else going on. I started playing Dark Souls 3. Again. On stream / on YouTube videos if you're a YouTube-only viewer. I always say, you know, if you're a YouTube-only viewer, you're only getting half of the puzzle. And the same applies for Twitch. People, if you only watch on YouTube, you don't know, but Twitch The Twitch chatters, I love them, but they do have a little bit of a superiority complex. They feel like they're getting the best content, and they don't know that there's lots of amazing content on YouTube. Sometimes I'll do a stream, and I'll be like, I could have done better on that one. But at least my YouTube videos today were fire. Some days I brick them both up, and some days I knock them both out of the park. That's just the nature of the beast, you know? But if you're only watching one, you're only getting half the puzzle, you know? It's like going to the lecture, but not doing the required reading. How are we supposed to build a cinematic universe if you don't go see my version of Iron Man 2? I don't know. We should talk less about our lives and more about this life in Isaac, because it is going to be... This has the potential to kind of echo the concerns of our last run and be a little bit spiced. I really wanted a key, dude. So let's talk about potential avenues for greatness. How do we win this run right now? The easy money play is... Oh, it's an XL floor too. Okay. The easy money play is Satanic Bible, Book of Revelations. Either one of those is pretty much a locked-in victory. And I feel weird going, like, deeper than that, because those are not rare. Those are actually pretty common. You know, Satanic Bible can show up on Deals with the Devil, and we should be getting many of those over time. Obviously, we'll just try this on for size right away. I'll take the crab juice. Good bosses, by the way. These were very good and solid bosses for us. You don't get to zap me. Round here, I do the zapping. I like it. Keep kicking those bombs in. Oh, let's go. Kick another one at him. I love it. Honestly, I also think there's other paths to success that are even more obvious, maybe. Like, I actually think the run is fine. Like, damage and speed was huge here, don't get me wrong. But I think if we get a rate of fire upgrade, we will not be sweating the dunce cap as much. Like, right now, it looks pretty bad. But I think if we could get a rate of fire that was not, you know, half of the rate of fire of average, we would be way, way, way better off. But really, like, some kind of defensive item would help a lot. So no matter what this item is, we're taking it. That one, I should have stood on the 22.5 degree angle. That's not what I wanted. I wanted Krampus's head, but it is what it is. I'm happy. I was going to say I'm happy we got to deal with the devil. That doesn't really make sense. Hold on. What about Diaper? Why did I think that Diaper was going to keep our orbitals in the same place? Maybe because, oh, if you know that somebody's got a diaper, you're like, I gotta stay away from there. I know that where I'm at presently has no diaper, so why mess with a good thing? I have, oh, okay, you got me. But I have gulped my, my trinket, which I think was safety cap. So we could go pick up another trinket. Here's the thing, though. Both of those other trinkets don't do anything. I know you're like longer range, lump of coal, but like, can you, oh, thank God, that's so nice. Can you imagine what a room would have to look like for us to not be able to land a shot on it however we choose right now? I don't know if those rooms exist in this game, just being straight up with you. It was worth the shot. Again, what's my new philosophy? I put way more value on Spirit Hearts than I ever have before. Way more value on HP than I ever have before. To the extent that I'm not even using IV Bag right here, and it exists to be used. It's like that Eurythmics song. Man, this has been showing up a lot lately. Now, I have to tell you, I think it is the right play. I really do. I mean, there's obviously some danger inherent with it. I wouldn't dispute that. But I do think that it has a real use case for us here. And I really don't want to... Like, I'm not just trying to build a moment here. I know I asked for a Tears upgrade. I can't do it. It can't be done. Enemies are going to be whipping around like crazy. That plus Dunce Cap is more of a... is more of a curse than any curse the game could give us. But what I was gonna say is I'm genuinely not just trying to like build a moment to play up some drama here to make the video more exciting. This is an extremely losable run. I think it might be, looking at it just by like its own parameters, I think it might be more losable than winnable, but I think that I am also a player that, you know, has played enough of the game that we're probably more likely to win than lose. And offensively, things have really actually, they've started looking up for us a great deal. Wow. That's, I couldn't have done that on purpose if I wanted to. I thought we did it again. But yeah, this is real dangerous. I would love to make our HP get sorted as soon as possible. And all we need for that is, I mean, really, like, we have a really good setup with our spacebar item. This is, you got me thinking. One makes you small, algaes. We're gonna play this. Obviously, like, if we could get, okay, hold on. Are we gonna make the big play here? We don't know yet. But if we can get Crystal Ball, we'd probably love to roll Crystal Ball instead of Dad's cursed currency, but I'll tell you straight up, I'm not going to double one Spirit Heart. The right play here, in my opinion, is to take it instead of taking a 50% chance to get nothing. I think we need the HP more than we can afford to lose it. We'll use that. Even though we already know where the secret rooms are, we'll use that so we can save this for the next floor. Okay, one of these might be the shop. That's still very nice, honestly. A tiers upgrade is lovely. You know, it's still an upgrade, but it really, it stings. It stings. Can I tell you why it stings? Originally, after I took the tiers upgrade, I was, in my head, a little wisdom popped in. And the wisdom was, we shouldn't even take this pill. Because we've had so many decent pills, that there's not that many good pills left. So why are we, you know, we're really, it's like counting cards in blackjack, and you're like, oh, my card basically can't come up anymore. And yet you're still like, hit me, you know? Wow. Very lucky to have not been hit there. When I said hit me, I meant, it was in the context of the metaphor. In the cerebral casino, not in real life. We're free. We gotta hit up this shop though. That much is certain, guaranteed. But I didn't heed my brain's advice. I said, nah, that's stupid. Let's just ride it. See what happens. Okay, in here, I want everything. And I got nothing. I really wanted the bomb because I could come back here and do something advantageous with it, but that's fine. Because we got a Spirit Heart, I don't think it's as urgent for us to have bought the Spirit Heart. I don't think that was actually a misplay, believe it or not. You might not believe me, but... Actually, now we got a bunch of bombs. Hold on. Hold on. Now that we have all this money, I do kind of consider it a misplay, but let's not beat ourselves up too much. I don't lose on quarantine anyway, so all of this is just a nice little... It's like watching a Marvel movie. You're like, oh, I don't see how the good guys could possibly win. They won! Okay, so here's what you do. Alright? We do have a lot of bombs. I'm willing to use 2 to make this happen. So we'll start with 1 here. 2 halves of a Spirit Heart, okay. And an X-Lax. Still didn't follow our own pill advice, but... So whatever's in these will be doubled. So what you're looking for is the item. Because if you get 2 items, that's huge. Instead, we got some Spirit Hearts. Could get IV bag and get some cash out of that, but... doesn't really interest me, to be honest. I think we made some solid plays there. Alright, so let's get out of here. Out of all the trinkets, I still prefer that one. Out of all the trinkets in this city, why'd you have to walk into mine? You know what that's from? An old movie that I have never seen, but have heard quoted many times. I don't know if it's Gone with the Wind or Casablanca. It's probably Casablanca because I believe that most of the movie takes place inside of a gin joint, and the quote is, "Of all the gin joints in the world," you know, you get the idea. But I don't know. I really don't. I get those movies confused a little bit. Sunset Boulevard, Dial M for Murder, Fritz Lang's 1928 cyberpunk film Metropolis. I get them all confused. I'm not much of a... Like, for me, I'm not saying I should probably watch some older movies now. And this is close, but I mean, Book of the Dead is pretty solid. That's like that's the interesting play that keeps us out of trouble, but I want to get into a little trouble here. When I was younger, when I was like a teenager and started becoming a snob, you know, started culturing that level of snobbishness, 2 Algiz runes. How come your mom lets you have 2 Algiz runes? You know, I watched all the old movies, well, some of the old movies that people say are like really good, like 8½, for example, by Federico Fellini, and I went, this is boring as heck. But I think that a big part of that is just, don't take this the wrong way, but at 17, 16 years old, you don't necessarily have the same taste you're going to have when you're 31. I'm not going to say, let's try to double it, okay? I mean, like, 1 Robo Baby 2.0 is not that good. 0 is not that bad. 2 is better. I'm not just saying it because it worked, but, you know, when they land, it's going to be worth double damage, I think. There was a reason to have 2, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Man, if you show me like a 16-year-old kid who's like, oh, I love 8½. I thought Girls of Wild Strawberries by Ingmar Bergman, that's my jam. I'd be like, no, it's not. Come on. Spider-Man. And I say this as somebody, I like those new Spider-Man movies, man. Those movies have been crushing it, but come on. Oh, that's so good. You're like, my favorite movie is, you know, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but then it immediately goes Spider-Man 2, and then Jurassic Park, and then like the one Star Wars that's acceptable to have on your list of best movies of all time, which is The Empire Strikes Back. I've been there, but generally speaking, my preference for old movies, I can watch something. Oh, that hurt. I can watch something made in the 70s and enjoy it no problem. 80s is like almost contemporaneous. 90s grew up in the era. Those aren't old movies to me. 60s, it depends on the movie. I do start to get, definitely for movies from the 50s, I'm like, this is completely foreign to me. I mean, we don't want 2 betrayals, but we don't want 1 betrayal either. There might be exceptions. Again, I haven't done it in a long time. Oops, I did it again, baby. Austin Powers, not an old movie. An older film, because it is, it's meritorious. It deserves to be called a film. Why? No, I think you were right to not Algiz here, actually. It depends what you get out of these, though. Magician, Empress, sadly not really worth it. You know what? This is actually a good opportunity to bring the Algiz into this room and just shred it with trinkets. Or orbitals, I should say. Now, do we know these pills? I feel like one of those is a tier's downgrade. This Balls of Steel? Okay, I'm willing to take a stab at this one. You'll love to see it. Now, I'm not going to double it again. But just to get that in and of itself is nice. Like, it might look like I'm kind of whiffing on some of these, but I really think I've been hedging my bets and playing this run pretty appropriately, to be honest. Now, this would be a nice opportunity to have Algiz, I will admit, but I think I've played a strong game. And I'll level with you, the reason I took Guillotine and Dunce Cap was not really like, oh, this will be fun to, you know, lose. I took Guillotine and Dunce Cap because we started with bad stats. So I thought, you know what, there's one way to get over bad stats. One of the worst trade deals in the history of mankind. But I thought, oh, what's better than 1 guaranteed item at the shop? the possibility of getting a bunch if there's a reroll machine, which is about a 50-50 shot. Anyway, I took them because we were offensively in a bad position, so well, we would have had a chance. To get over that was worth it in my eyes. I think Mom's box of trinkets is worth it for now. And we might as well hold a trinket, even if it's not great. And then take this. Do you want to double the box? I don't think so. I think what you want to do is reroll. And do we want to double this? I don't think so. Well, the box sticks around. That's a good point. We might not get another reroll, so sure. Okay, that's fine. I'm not sore about that one. You know, I know the rules, and so do I. Although, I'll level with you, we should have per-throwed the box that was just sitting there. That one would have been a free item for us. But I don't know. Considering we have guaranteed deals with the devil, saving the per-throw for, like, I don't know, a bad deal with the devil, like, for example, Betrayal, which we had the opportunity to reroll, but I was too lost in my own head to do. Doesn't seem like a bad idea, does it? Ooh, did you see the level of self-control required to keep me going there? This one is still not sorted. Don't let my masterful play trick you into thinking the run has gotten better. I have merely decided to get good. I've been waiting a long time to be able to say it, and here we are. Oh, dude, that's... So I was originally actually gonna talk about how important Spoon Bender would have been when I was talking about win conditions. I was like, we could always just get Spoon Bender Brimstone. And in my head, I was like, no, it's stupid. The odds of that are, you know, 33.3 repeating, of course. I know they're lower than that. It's just a classic WoW meme, lads. We're just having... It's just banter. So now... A beam-based weapon. I mean, it's already good. But, I mean, let's not call it a beam-based weapon. Let's just call it what we're actually asking for. Brimstone or Tech X. Both of those would go a very, very long way towards solving any DPS-related problems we thought we had. Start here. We definitely do want this. That is not worth it yet. Ooh, I think that's the perfect doubling chance. And you know what? I am 0% sore we didn't get the opportunity to pay for it. I feel like we lost nothing except an opportunity to purchase something that was a little bit too expensive for us. I like Pentagram. I wasn't willing to give up any HP for it right now. And honestly, I think that represents a real change and character development for the character of Northernlion. Normally, he was all about, hey, peak Zane, people won't watch me anymore if I'm not, you know, it's like Johnny Knoxville. If I'm not blowing my scrotum up with a firecracker, people are they're gonna watch somebody else do it, right? Nowadays, I'm like, they like me. They really like me. I can play slightly more prudently. Dude, so the other item in there should be Guppy, but on the other hand, well, it should be something, I guess. It might not be Guppy, it might just be another head item. If we don't get the bombs or the ability to fly necessary to do something, to get it without getting hit, we could just keep trying to double it in order to get free items off of it. Now, every one is a coin flip, but still, we know it's an item generator. So let me get this straight, okay? This is my methodology. If we can get a bomb in the next 2 rooms, so we can knock that into a safe position to collect our 1 guaranteed item, I would. And now we have. It's tempting, I'll admit. There's a temptation. But I think that we already won a little bit on this. Let's keep it going. Perfectly placed. Oh my. Now we're talking. Who needs Pentagram? I'm really impressed with myself, and I'm not afraid to toot my own horn on this one. I think this is a very losable run that we've done a great job with. You don't have to pat me on the back. I'm sure that, like, I read the Isaac comments. I do. For a while I wasn't, because I was like, they're probably all the same every time. But like, no, I got over that. You know, I read the Isaac comments, and there is occasionally, like, here's the thing. I don't think as a YouTuber it's realistic to be like, I'm playing a video game, but really it's all about the banter. Why are you criticizing the video game? I don't think that's realistic. So I understand when people are like, you've made mistakes in your gameplay in this video. For sure, I get it. At the same time, on this one, I'm sure there will be comments that are like, hey, you know, at 11 minutes, you could have done this. You could have gone to the item room faster, which would have given you this item faster, and then you might not have taken damage in that situation. You know, you would have gotten the Perthro rune at the same time as Guillotine, so you could have re-rolled that, and, you know, you get the idea. And all that stuff is valid. I'm not trying to disparage those comments. The only comments I like to disparage are the ones that are, like, really weird, misguided personal attacks, which have thankfully diminished in quantity quite substantially over the past half-decade or so. Oh, I can only assume because I've become an amazing person, unworthy of criticism in any regard. And they're, oh, really? Then how do you explain that joke about the dog? No, it's, but this was all just a big setup to a joke where the payoff was going to be, on this episode, I will accept no criticism because I've played perfectly. I'm not always impressed with my performance, you know. Oftentimes, I wouldn't say most of the time, but oftentimes we win in spite of our performance. Most of the times I think we play at a relatively appropriate level, but, you know, like anybody, we're guilty of bricking it up now and then. Hold on, your boy's thinking. I think it's worth trying the Guppy play. I don't think it... Maybe it's not, you know? But honestly, never mind. I think we can afford the HP, is the thing. I think you do pay for this, and then you just take 2 of these, and then we don't need to double it. The doubling would not give us anything. Well, it would give us another Guppy's Paw if you want to be literal, but the second Guppy's Paw holds no advantage for us. No, I'm not really interested in this guy right here. So I think Lord of the Pit was worth getting for flying. Less so for the speed, more for the flying. We really shouldn't be getting in super close to enemies. We should be letting those enemies get, you know, blown away from afar by homing tiers. I'm surprised I got hit there, but that's on me. Now, I am making a classic mistake. Can anybody tell me what it is? Has anybody here read Macbeth? No man born of woman shall be able to defeat me. Then Macduff rides up, and he's like, I was not born of woman. I was born via cesarean section. And then Macbeth is like, that counts? I thought that counted. I mean, like, that's how we colloquially... Look, I think Macbeth is, like, a very good play. In fact, I'll level with you, it might be my favorite Shakespeare play. I'm not really enough of a nerd to have a favorite Shakespeare play, you know, based on a lot of readings. But, you know, I've read a bunch in school. Taming of the Shrew, Romeo and Juliet, obviously Hamlet, Macbeth. I'm trying to think of what we read in 11th grade. We read The Tempest in 11th grade. You know, I've read a few of them. I read Julius Caesar, I read Titus Andronicus. Those I am willing to admit I read in my downtime as a snobby teenager. And you know what? Worthy plays. However, I like Macbeth, but the twist being that Macduff was born via cesarean section, and thus the prophecy does not apply to him, is one of the weirdest gotchas in fiction, in my opinion. That's kind of like, if they made Macbeth in 2020, it would be like Signs. You know, the aliens are allergic to water? Come on, what do you mean he's not born of woman? Just because he had a C-section? Anyway, you get the idea. I don't need to belabor the point. But I'm making the classic mistake of hubris. We're talking like we've won. There's a lot of run left to play. Inarguably, the hardest parts of the run are still left to play. I want to see what this guy pays out with. If he pays out with an HP upgrade, we will take it because we have a deal with the devil guaranteed, which is likely to take HP to spend. All right, that did not happen. Well, we'll talk about it because we could get money over the course of this fight. Maybe we could. That was good damage. Can I tell you something? I'm like, what if we just put Robo Baby dead center? I'm not doing this as a meme. It's just like, this is one of those enemies that's kind of hard to hit at an angle like that. I'll take my lumps on that one. Okay, let me see what we get. I mean, this is awesome. There's no doubling required on this one. So we'll head up. I think we'll just head up. Definitely picking up the goat head, and you could say we got carried to some extent, but picking up the goat head was a very sensible decision. And we were not rich in HP when that was an option for us, so I'm pretty stoked. I think we did, even if we do lose, we did very well up to this point. That can't be taken away from me. Now, it could all be squandered, but it probably won't. I'm just going to level with you. I think we're riding in pretty comfortable shoes right now, which is not an expression, but you can kind of glean the meaning, even though it's not a real expression. What do you mean it's not a real expression? If you know what I mean, then it's an expression. You know, we're going for a walk in comfortable shoes. It's not what I said. I said riding, but, you know. English language is fluid like that. Not only have I read those plays, and I really did read the Shakespeare plays in high school. I didn't use the Cliff Notes. I did use the Spark Notes for To Kill a Mockingbird in 9th grade. I'm ashamed to say. Here's my thoughts on Cliff Notes, Spark Notes, blah, blah, blah. You might think that it sucks that your teacher makes you read a book for school, but you may, or you may not, because I think a lot of adults don't agree with me on this one, but having the ability to read a classic work of literature and analyze it very lightly in school is a luxury. That's kind of like a privilege in some way, because you're enriching yourself culturally, which, you know, I think that most people, as an adult, you only do that in, like, your downtime. You know what I mean? To have the opportunity to cultivate an appreciation for classic works that may contain life lessons, you know, during school hours is very nice. I think a well-rounded education up to a point is important. Very good. Very good. I don't really care about you, so let's just double you as a meme. Oh, dude, this is another win condition for us with static tiers here. Oh my god. If you'll excuse me, there's a very aggressive knock on the door. Alright, I have returned. Just another pain. I didn't turn off the microphone, or turn on the microphone. My mistake. You were muted this whole time. Well, for like, you know, a minute. All I was gonna say is we had another huge delivery truck of essentials pull up to the loading bay, as I like to call it, given the frequency of deliveries lately. Anyway, I shouldn't have read the Spark Notes for To Kill a Mockingbird, okay? That book is like 150 pages long and readable. Yeah, but Harper Lee's pseudo-sequel to... Yeah, I don't care. Okay? We were reading dog-eared copies of the book that had, you know, been passed down for like 30 years. This is... Look. You can't always separate the art from the artist. When I was a younger man, I definitely had the opinion that you should always separate the art from the artist. there are some situations in which I think the art and the artist are so intertwined that if you're like, man, this guy's like... Well, I don't even want to go that far, because what I was about to say is, in spite of that, I read Ender's Game. But, like, you know, I think that sometimes artists who might have questionable or at the very least controversial opinions about personal issues are weirdly able, not uniquely able, it's not, I don't think it's an advantage for them, but I think they are also able to create works that actually almost preach the opposite of what their personal politics believe. Although then again, now that I think about it, Ender's Game very much is a book about how, you know, one super child saves the whole human race, isn't it? Alright, well anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I got a lot to think about. For now, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, click the like button, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!